And welcome to another edition of the Cardinals Nest here on HBC TV 25. This is the show about St. Mary's University and its athletic programs. I'm Dean Beckman, joined once again by our Sports Information Director, Donnie Netto. And also, we're going to shake things up a little bit this week and bring our guest in right away. Neil Cassidy, the head coach for women's soccer, is joining us for the interview segment today. So, Donnie, great to have Neil here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always nice. And, Coach, before we start talking about soccer and the great start that you guys have had, I want you to take us back to last Wednesday. Pretty important day for you in your life. Became a U.S. citizen. Yep. Talk a little bit about that, because that's quite a process. And you know, personally, from my standpoint, I'm very happy to have you as a U.S. citizen.
Thank you. Accent's not changing, just so you know. Yeah, it took a year to get from start to finish of the interview and going through the process, getting the interview, and then that was the most terrifying bit, is answering the questions. But I aced it 100%. So it was then the ceremony of 892 people from 92 different countries. So it was kind of cool to be a part of that.
Well, congratulations. And Dean, he took a page out of your book when I asked him, now that he's a U.S. citizen, if he was going to speak English. And he said, I always speak English. I just don't speak American.
Right. And so, Neil, at what point did you realize you really wanted to follow through with this?
To become an American citizen? I'm never going to move back to England. And at that point, my green card was coming to an end. So it was just kind of a crossroads. And I just made the decision, hey, why not?
Okay, let's talk soccer.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll be happy about that. But, Coach, great start to the season. You're 4-2 right now, heading into the weekend against St. Olaf. Can you talk a little bit about where you're at? Is this about where you expected to be at this time of the year, or how are you feeling about where the team is at right now?
Yeah, team. I think the biggest thing I wanted the team to be is close. I mean, every year we talk about it in family, and I think this is the closest the team has ever been at this point. That's a massive credit to the returners to make the freshmen feel welcome, and there's some little things that we need to check in on and dust up on, but we're not in a bad place.
Well, certainly offensively, you started the season in a very good place, even winning one game 10-0. So offensively, things really seem to be clicking. Tell us about the offense a little bit and what you've seen.
Yeah, I mean, we changed the formation to be a little bit more attacking oriented. With that comes some opportunities and the goals. I think we've already scored more in our first 6 games than we did in the entire season last year. So I'm really happy with that. And everybody's taking part. It's not just kind of one person who's being dominant. I think we've had 8 or 10 different people score from the team, which is just phenomenal to see.
Well, and I think you look at that Finlandia game that you did win 10-0, and you had 8 different players score in that game alone. So you are definitely spreading the wealth. It seems that this year you have a great combination of not only talent, but some speed there, especially up front, and that seems to really kind of help you be able to spread the field a little bit.
I think speed, yeah. But we've also got players that can hold the ball, and you'll be talking to one of them in a little bit. So I think we can, a multi-pronged attack, right? We can attack through the middle, we can attack outside, and we can attack over the top. So we want to try and keep teams guessing. You know, our tactics changed from game to the game yesterday. They had a little bit more speed up front than we did at the back, so we just changed our formation a little bit to deal with that, and it worked for a little bit. So.
Can you talk, Coach, I know you don't like to single people out, but can you talk about the importance of your senior class? Because this is their last hurrah, really has gotten off to a great start. Just talk a little bit about the impact that they've had on this program, this team this year, but also in the program itself.
I think the buy-in from the start of this class was phenomenal. They've come through the 4 years, and every year the culture has gotten better to the point of this is exactly where we need it to be now. And they're not afraid to put the freshmen on their back, so to speak, and show them some things, and they're not afraid to ask a little bit more from the freshmen. So we've got that really good balance of the respect that they have for the freshmen, but the freshmen have a huge amount of respect for the senior class. And they've done an amazing job making them feel.
You know, you had talked about the family environment earlier, and I think especially for your team, that becomes important because maybe more than any other team in the athletic department, you recruit from such a wide area. You have local players, some Winona players, and other area players, but you also have several players from multiple states. And so that becomes difficult for them. They get a little bit homesick, and so they look to a team to be their family. And so maybe talk about your recruitment process and how that has gone.
Yes, it's really, so we had 10 freshmen. We think we're now at 12 different states on our team. And when they come in for the visit, they get to see what it's like to be a part. So a day in the life of a Cardinal. Here's what it's like to be, this is what you can expect. It's not going to be massively different when you come here. And the feedback we get is just the team. I mean, they're the family. I can kind of show them to St. Mary's, but the team does a fantastic job of making everybody feel welcome. And I think that's why we've gotten 10 freshmen this year, and we're looking for the same number next year.
You know, we've talked a lot offensively about the depth that you have and the skill there, but can you talk a little bit about defensively? And I guess leading out from the net, you've got two very talented goalkeepers, Gabby coming back, and then Zoe really kind of stepping in this year and improving that she can play at this level. Just kind of talk defensively what type of a team you've got.
We've got a pretty smart team. Our defensive plan yesterday, they carried it out to a T with pretty much only one training session, and it was really, really good to see. We actually started a Woman of the Match yesterday where the team votes for who they think was most deserved, whether it's encouragement or performance, and Gabby actually got the nod yesterday for the Woman of the Match. So that's something we're going to continue to do, and I think it's just that recognition from their peers which will help with that. But defensively, we're in a good spot. I think it's now time to switch back to our transition.
Let's talk conference a little bit. You started out with St. Thomas. Now you're sort of settling into kind of a Saturday, Wednesday format the next couple of weeks here. So tell us what to expect from some of these conference matches.
It's tough, right? I mean, the conference is it's kind of set out. You're looking at the results and you kind of think, okay, that's where things should be at, but they're all one or two goal games.
Right.
Every single game yesterday was 1 or 2 goal games. We're right in there. We played well yesterday. There was a lot of positives to bring out from the #1 team that only graduated 2 players last year and went 10-0-1 last year and brought in 16 freshmen.
Right.
So we're using that as a kind of a board to spring off for St. Olaf on Saturday. You know, this team, and I don't know if you follow Twitter. If you don't, follow Twitter. But you'll see in that the energy that the team has, and there's something about this team that I think we can pull together, and we can make a good run at this. I really do feel that this year.
Donnie, you're at all of the home games for sure, and I'm sure you've seen some of that energy and some of the difference that Coach Cassidy has
no question.
brought to the program.
I think one of the things that I've seen really is the depth that you have. And you mentioned it. You know, you've got a number of upperclassmen, but the talented freshmen you've got. I look at the first game you guys played. 4 goals, and they all came from freshmen, and you know, so you've got a really nice mix, and it just seems like they do play well together. It is a very cohesive group that you know, starts in the back with the goalkeepers and just moves all the way up front, and you know, it's kind of it is exciting to watch them play this year. They play a great brand of soccer, and like Neil said, I'm excited to see what the future holds, because you know, I don't think you can place a lot of stock in one game in the conference, and especially being against the defending conference champion. And a 2-0 loss is not a bad loss. So I'm really excited for Saturday when they play St. Olaf to really kind of see how they can be able to bounce back from that game and continue to move forward. And
Neil, as you alluded to earlier, we have one of your senior athletes coming on the program next, Emily Loof. What's one thing about Emily that we might not know? Just in my academic dealings with Emily, of course, she's interning for Donnie this semester in the Sports Information Office. What should we know about Emily?
She's coming on after me, right?
Right, correct, after, yeah. So she has payback opportunity.
You know what? Honestly, I don't think people know how much she actually cares about everybody on the team. We have some conversations and private conversations. She's a great listener, and she does a lot behind the scenes for individuals that the individual sees, but other people don't. But I see.
And also a good role model academically, right? Because I work with you on the academic side. She was our Female Scholar of the Year, again, 2nd year in a row this year, and I know that's something you emphasize with the team.
Oh, without question. Yeah, that's the standard of when I speak to any players that are looking for the academic side of things. Loof is the first person, Emily's the first person that I discuss, without question.
All right, well, Coach, congratulations on a great start, but I know you've got a long ways to go, so good luck here the rest of the year.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, stay tuned. We'll bring in Emily Loof from the women's soccer team. That's next here on HBC.
Ever wish you could just swing by the local office to pay your bill quickly rather than calling a toll-free number and speaking to a machine? When you join the HBC family, you get that and so much more with local office locations and customer care. Whether you have general questions or would like to upgrade your services, HBC is here in your community, providing an unrivaled, personalized experience. Switching is easy and installation is free, and we're so sure you'll love HBC, we offer a 30-day guarantee. Visit hbci.com to learn more or call 888-474-9995 to experience the HBC difference.
I'm a professional cat. 2 of these wannabes are lying.
Can you tell who's a cook?
To me, that's a pro move.
And who's a con?
I'm so confused right now.
Just when you think you've got it,
Not bad for an amateur. Your first time in the kitchen?
You blew it!
you don't.
What?
I quit.
And only they know if the truth is being served. All new Wednesday night at 10. Cooks versus Cons on Food Network. Fox Thursdays.
The game is simple. You name the song, I give you some money.
It's time to make sweet music with host Jamie Foxx.
But this ain't Dancing with the Stars.
It's a race against the clock
Man versus machine.
as 3 teams battle it out
Somebody's about to go down.
for $1 million.
That's so much money!
Beat Shazam Thursdays or watch anytime on demand or Fox Now.
Northland Outdoors is about so much more than the biggest fish or the hottest hunting spots. All across the Northland, there are amazing people with incredible stories to tell. We're going to find those stories and share them with everyone. Join us each and every week as we explore the Northland and experience some of the most exciting outdoor adventures in the country right here in our own backyard. This is Northland Outdoors.
And welcome back to the Cardinals Nest here on HBC. Neil Cassidy, the head women's soccer coach, replaced by one of his senior athletes. Emily Loof is joining us. Emily, welcome to the Cardinals Nest. And you're from Colorado Springs, Colorado. So tell us how you got started with soccer and how you ended up coming to St. Mary's.
Okay, it's kind of an interesting story actually. So I got started with soccer when I was 4 years old. Basically from the time I could walk, I was kicking around. My parents signed me up for pretty much everything and said, pick what you like. So that was what stuck the most. But how I learned about St. Mary's is kind of the weird part of the story. So I was looking at Colorado State, which is obviously a very different school and a lot closer to home. And then Neil had actually called me my senior year right before it started, so like August. And Sarah Egbert, who is a teammate of mine and has been a classmate of mine since we were 7, was like, yeah, you should visit. Like, he's a nice guy. It's a nice school. Like, can't hurt, right? So I came out here. I was like, okay, it can't hurt. Give it a shot. And I fell in love with the place. And then right after I got back from Minnesota, I visited Colorado State, didn't like it. So I was like, well, that's easy. Committed on Christmas, and the rest is history.
All right, good. Well, we're glad you're here. And of course, you're a literature with a writing emphasis major, and you're also a double major with public relations. And we'll get to all of that a little bit later, but one other interesting aspect is that you're interning for Donnie this semester in the Sports Information Office. So what kind of boss is Donnie? That's what I
Remember, anything you say can and will be used against you.
He's amazing. One of the things that Donnie has really been stressing with me lately is it's about the athletes, and obviously as one, it's kind of easier to reach them from that vantage point. And he's just really letting me be creative and kind of get the content that I want to see and that I think my peers want to see. So it's been really
It actually
fun.
is really neat, Dean, to have a student athlete as an intern, because it gives me some eyes maybe in a different direction than than I will see. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and sometimes it's good to have a fresh perspective.
Sure.
And she's pushing the Snapchat just like everybody else, and I keep fighting it, but we're going forward. So it's really been fun to have her in the office, and I'm looking forward to, once the season's over, for her to really start showing off some of her great writing skills.
Okay, good. Well, that's 2 social media promotions on the show.
Yeah, follow us everywhere.
Right, exactly. So Emily, let's talk about soccer now.
Okay.
When you came in as a freshman, wow, I think you had 12 goals, right? And now this year you're off to another great start. You had 3 goals in one game, some goals since then. You're up to 5, 6 goals now. So just tell us about your progression as a player, but also the way you've seen the team grow over the years.
I mean, it's kind of bizarre at this point in my life, because when I came in, there was 15 of us, so kind of similar to this big freshman class we have this year, and we were just so bug-eyed, and now we're in the opposite of that, and the freshmen are bug-eyed and we're the old ones.
Right.
So I'm actually the oldest on the team by like 3 months, so it's kind of like, oh my gosh, time has really flown. But that progression has been so interesting to watch, because I think every year we've had a different team, and Neil was talking about how this is the closest we've been, and I completely agree with that. We're just so tight-knit, and people want it so bad. We actually had a freshman yesterday at our game in St. Thomas do the pep talk right before we went out on the field, which that never used to happen when I was younger. So it's really cool. It's cool to see that everybody's really dialed in this year.
Can you talk a little bit about your role, not only just you, but the role as the upperclassman, in terms of making sure that those freshmen are a part of what Neil calls your family, and where that role fits in for you?
I think the biggest thing is just making sure that they're comfortable with everything, not only on the field, but off the field too. So if we see them in the hallway, we'll ask, like, do you know where your class is? How's it going? Do you want to get lunch later? It's never been like a segregated kind of team where the juniors eat with the juniors and the sophomores eat with the sophomores. Like, we're all mixed in all the time. And I actually live in the same building as 7 of our freshmen, so I see them all the time. They borrow stuff from me, I borrow stuff from them. So it's kind of just that on the field and off the field closeness. I would say that the seniors and the juniors and sophomores are doing really well at.
If you look back to when you were a freshman to where you are as a senior, what was the biggest adjustment? What was the hardest thing for you to pick up or learn or just adjust to as you continued to age into a senior now?
I would say the speed of play and the physicality, if we're talking soccer. High school is one thing, but college is a whole different animal in terms of speed of play, and especially in the MIAC, teams are so physical, which is why it's one of the most competitive D3 conferences in the nation. So I would say that probably.
And what advice would you give seniors in high school who right now are, doing some college shopping? What sort of things should they be thinking about when they're not only thinking academics, but also continuing a soccer career?
I'd say make sure you love it. We've had so many people through our program. Like I said, we started with 15, we're down to 6 now, and those girls didn't love it, but it's one thing to love it, and it's another thing when your legs are killing you and you're exhausted and you have a paper due tomorrow that you haven't started. So make sure that you're committed and that you actually want it, and understand what division you're ready to play at as well.
Now you heard Coach Cassidy talk about you. I asked you what kind of boss Donnie was. Tell us what kind of coach Neil is. What do you have to say about Neil Cassidy as a head coach?
Neil is so great with the one-on-ones. I mean, he's good at the team stuff too, but I've always, even since I was a freshman, felt comfortable coming up to him and say, this doesn't make sense, please explain it to me in a way that I'll understand. And he'll know how to say it to me versus how to say it to Maddie, who's a different forward, and what we'll understand. So I'd say that's his biggest strength.
Can you talk a little bit, especially this year? I mean, you got off to a great start. You suffered the tough loss to Ripon. You lost to St. Thomas.
Yep.
This team seems a little bit more resilient to me than teams I've seen in the past. As you head into Saturday, if you were going to give the pep talk on Saturday, what would you say to the team as you get ready for really a big game against St. Olaf?
I'd say the first thing is we haven't lost at home yet. One of the things that all the sports that St. Mary's are doing this year is the hashtag Protect the Nest, and we're really trying to embrace that motto. I think we have a responsibility to prove that to teams coming in, like, this is our home, you're not going to have an easy game here. So I'd say that for starters.
Well, we're up to 3 social media references now with the hashtagging. Emily, 2 years in a row, the Female Scholar of the Year. Really difficult accomplishment, especially 2 years in a row, right, Donnie? So how do you do it? The balance there has to be incredible, and you've managed to do it all 4 years, of course, but for 2 consecutive years being the outstanding female scholar. So tell us about your thought process there and how you go about balancing everything.
Using all of your free time. You have 20 minutes in between class. I just wrote a paper in 20 minutes before I had to come here. So, but also understanding like the give and take of that. So sometimes I just need a nap and then I'll be able to work better later. So I would say using all your time, using your resources. If there's somebody on the bus on the way to a game that knows this subject better than me, I'll probably sit with them and have them help me, and vice versa, you know. And just like understanding that the thing I love about D3 sports is it's not D1 or D2 where it's like you're there to play a sport. I'm here to get a degree and play a sport. So I'd say that our academic staff is really good at like understanding that we have both these things going on and we're going to work the same for both.
And for you, you have 2 majors to think about and worry about, literature with a writing emphasis and then also a public relations. So tell us about your goals for the future, graduate school perhaps, or job, what are you thinking?
I'd like to be done with school. It feels like an eternity I've been in there. But I don't know, everybody asks what my dream job is and the answer changes every day. So I obviously love the sports industry. Which is kind of why I was originally just literature, and then I had the PR minor kind of as a backup, which I'm sure you're thrilled to hear about. But I fell in love with PR, and that's why I elevated it to a major. So I'd love to do writing of a sports team, coverage of a sports team, whether that be like in-house or for a newspaper or that new website they have called The Athletic, I think is super interesting. I don't know if you guys have heard about that, but the sports industry is changing, especially the way we write about it in the media. So I'm really excited to get into that.
And Donnie, I know you're excited about giving her those opportunities as part of her internship.
You better believe it. Now, I warned you that you should pour over the questionnaires.
Yeah.
Okay, so I poured over yours.
Oh, no.
Now,
oh, no.
You come from the state of Colorado.
Yes.
The Avalanche.
Yeah.
Stanley Cup champions. And who's your favorite team?
Well, you have to understand,
the
right?
Minnesota Wild.
The Minnesota
Wild. You got to explain this.
Okay, well, hockey was kind of a thing when I was little for me. And then as me and my sister, who's 4 years older than me, both got into soccer, we kind of fell off the hockey wagon a little bit. Then when I came back to Minnesota, I was like, oh yeah, I used to love this when I was little. So I was in Minnesota. And I do respect what the Avs did back in the day, but you have to remember I'm only 21. And they scored 43 points in the NHL last year. That's pretty brutal. So I got to get behind the Wild. I love their, especially Zach Parise, his hometown kind of thing. I love that storyline. And I love that they're kind of underdogs, but they stick with it.
Did you hear that, Donnie? Back in the day.
Know,
she's calling you old.
That's not what I said.
That's the nicest way I've been called old in a long time.
Emily, we're about out of time here, but you know, final thoughts now as this is your senior season for soccer. You'll be graduating in May. Final thoughts. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Just this journey has just been incredible. I've never regretted coming to St. Mary's. It's been such an amazing time for me, and I'm so grateful for everything that everybody has done for me.
Well, we've loved having you here, and best of luck here
Thank
as you
you
close out the soccer season the rest of the way.
Thank you.
All right, stay tuned here to the Cardinals Nest. Donnie and I will take a look at all of the other sports that are in action. We do that next here on HBC.
NASCAR racing is about a whole lot more than just cars going around a track. It's about people who drive, people who engineer, people who plan, people who know how to put it all together. Meet the people who make the cars go round every week on Raceline. Watch Raceline here every week.
This is as good as there is. He got it. Here comes Harper. Got him. What a play. Incredible. And they got him. That kid is unbelievable. Now, game over.
Everything you love about baseball is on FS1.
You excited as I am?
Nice.
Just a little bit.
The wait is over.
Boom.
Chip and Joe are back with more Fixer Upper.
You ready to do this?
I can do it. Right there.
Step in here, hot pants.
You punk. I love you.
You slayed it.
Whoa.
You killed it.
This is amazing.
Yes!
Fixer Upper, Tuesday night at 9, only on HGTV.
You ready for this?
Yep. Here we go.
I'm really nervous.
We're moving in together for the first time.
To our brand new book, Love You.
I lied and hurt a lot of people.
You burned me a few times, and that's when I was just like, no more.
I'm gonna be responsible for your kids.
Why would I do that? Have I ever asked you for money?
No.
Get it together.
You're my sister and you have love for me.
Go over there and be honest with her.
Do you want to stay in this relationship?
What's a Southern girl? It's waking up before the sun rises. It's loving the simple things in life like the dirt roads that lead you home. It's working hard to get what you want. It's hanging your own stands, breaking your own ground, and strategizing every little move for that one moment when everything you've worked for is standing right in front of you. Even if I fail a million times, I keep pushing myself till I'm exhausted, filthy, and about to give up. And that's when the adrenaline hits.
And we're back here to wrap things up on the Cardinals Nest. Dean Beckman and Donnie Netto. And Donnie, the volleyball team off to a great start. And what an exciting conference opening match on Wednesday night.
Yeah, no question. You play Bethel,
Tuesday,
one of the teams that is picked to finish very high in the conference, and you beat them 3-2. A great win for Coach Keeker and the Cardinals, and really a nice springboard as they get into a very hectic conference part of their season right now, and they're playing very well, 7-3. Brandy Blattner continues to do her thing, but she's getting a lot of help, which is, I think, very encouraging for Coach Keeker. You got Gloria Catania, who's playing very well, Rachel Kettle, Lene Wallace, Lexi Barth. You know, your two setters, Brittany Hansen and Lexi Braun are doing Lillian Braun, sorry, are doing very well. So it's been a great team effort, and really wins like the one against Bethel, and then last weekend at the Oshkosh tournament they knocked off 8th ranked Washington University out of Missouri, another 3-2 victory. So really doing a great job of really stepping up their game when they're playing against some of the nation's best teams.
All right, and in women's golf action, the women's golfers were at the Wartburg Invitational, did well there.
Yeah, Paula Avila, you know, we've talked so much about Caitlin Kling, and Caitlin did again lead the Cardinals, but Paula Avila had 2 career rounds going 93-89. Michaela Heckendorf had a career best with a 93. So their scores continue to drop, and hopefully that can continue as they've got two more tournaments before they get ready for the conference championship. So it's good to see them lowering those scores a bit.
And in men's golf, tell us about this freshman, Tyler Dove. He's really making a name for himself.
Boy, he sure is. He's been playing some very good golf, 79-78 this weekend, and you know, he's played 5 competitive rounds. 4 of them have been in the 80s, or in the 70s, and the other one was an 80. So doing a really nice job stepping in as a freshman, kind of giving Coach Rangard some depth there, and I know that that's something that they certainly need. If they can continue to shoot those scores, you know, in the mid to upper 70s, they're going to be right in the hunt to be, you know, in the middle of the pack in the MIC, and that would be a huge climb from where they were last year.
Now, of course, we featured women's soccer during the interview segment. The men's soccer team off to an undefeated start. Now, as we tape this, they're heading up to St. Thomas for the conference opener there, but really a good start for men's soccer, 4-0.
Yeah, we talked about it with the women's having to start the conference with the defending national champions, or defending conference champions. Well, you've got that in St. Thomas as well. They entered that match, or that game on Wednesday, ranked 3rd in the country, so it's going to be a tough test for the Cardinals, but they're playing with a lot of confidence, 4-0 for the first time since 1986, so they're really playing very well. Every game has been a good game. I think they've been tested pretty well in the first 4 games, and hopefully that will carry over as they get ready for Saturday, because Saturday they've got a big one at home against St. Olaf.
And finally, Donnie, cross country, coming off the Alumni Open. They were not in action, but they will be this weekend.
Yeah, they're in action this weekend. They go to St. Olaf, a huge meet at St. Olaf, 20-plus teams, several of them nationally ranked, so it'll be a really good test to kind of see where the Cardinals are at, because you know, obviously they've got just the 1 meet under their belt, and this will be a very big one for them.
Yep, no question about that. So that's going to do it for the Cardinals Nest here on HBC. Glad that you could join us, and a busy show. It's going to be a busy week ahead, and we'll be right back here next week with another Cardinals Nest on HBC TV 25. Thanks for watching.